I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for InvestmentPitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Laurin Bylica and Joshua Scigala, co-founders of the Standard. Gentlemen, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Thanks for having us, Ashton.
You're very welcome. I'm excited to dive into the world of stablecoins, and not just any particular stablecoins. Your team has really developed an initiative that I think could be part of the future in the transition to something that's a little bit more foundational and backed by some actual value. So I'm interested to hear your perspective and how your team has developed out these algorithmic stablecoins. If you could start, Joshua, by giving us an overview of the Standard and what your team has been working on, then we can dive into the details.
Yeah, sure thing. So the Standard came about by the love of the understanding of the gold standard, hence the name the Standard. But we didn't, we've been running a crypto, we were the first to run a crypto gold exchange at Vaultoro that we invented back in 2015. And everyone always came to us and said, hey, tokenize gold. And there was always a problem with that, because you can't just tokenize gold because there's real world costs to that. There's the what's called demurrage costs. So you have the men with guns, the big doors, the insurance, the auditing, and that stuff can't get paid for with a simple token. If I'm holding an ERC20 for a gram and I lose my keys, then that place is going to be paying that forever for me. And so it turns into a Ponzi scheme where they have to get new people in to pay for those people that lost their keys or whatever. So we really wanted to figure out how to build a better system. And so the Standard came about by allowing people to lock up gold and lock up cryptocurrencies into a smart contract and then borrow against that collateral to generate stablecoins pegged to the euro. And then we wanted to not only do the euro, we wanted to do pretty much every fiat token, fiat currency eventually, but we'll start with the euro as a simple base product. So it'll be the first fiat pegged stablecoin backed by physical assets and soft assets. And this is a really, really interesting use case because we don't want to wait for governments to create a gold standard. We can create that ourselves privately. People can privately decide to back their currency by gold. And the other great thing was that they would generate a loan against themselves and be able to pay themselves back. So if you have an inflationary event, after a while it gets cheaper to pay your own loan back. So this was a really big step towards allowing people to hold their wealth without spending it, and also don't get hit by capital gains tax and such by, instead of selling your assets, you actually borrow against them.
Right.
Very interesting. And yeah, I could see how that experience at Vaultoro with the gold would play a role in you finding a solution to also be able to incorporate taking out loans, collateralizing, and then creating value that you can actually use out of that to back a stablecoin. And it's really interesting process that you've developed to do this, because it's not something that you often hear. There's a lot of stablecoins that have been around for 5+ years that aren't doing this at all. They're backed by totally different methods. Maybe you could talk about how you approached that market, seeing what was currently in the market for stablecoins and the competitive advantage that you're finding developing the Standard, moving into a market that's years old already.
Right. So I take over this question. The Standard is, like our stablecoins, will be backed by a variety of variety of fungible assets. Gold is the first asset amongst Bitcoin that we will onboard with the platform. But at the end of the day, we want to focus on physical and digital assets that will back the stablecoins. And the whole platform is governed by a decentralized autonomous organization, the Standard DAO. The Standard DAO consists of the community of Standard token holders that will manage and also govern the platform. And for example, the onboarding of new collaterals, so assets that can be used as collaterals, will have to be approved through the Standard DAO. this is a beautiful process because this will allow decentralization and will also allow people, a community of people, to audit the platform, make sure these assets are really backing the stablecoins. Another interesting part is that all fiat-backed stablecoins have a variety of different issues. For example, negative interest rates, like we see in the Eurozone, where negative interest rates makes it questionable how can be a stablecoin fiat-backed with euro actually exist when the company who holds all the euro to back up the stablecoin euro is holding the assets in the bank account and has to pay negative interest fees on these holdings. So this is one of the flaws of stablecoins that are fiat-backed. Another one is upcoming regulations. Regulations is always the topic in the crypto space. And this is a major issue also for fiat-backed stablecoins. So we moved away from the concept. We think that algorithmic stablecoins are the future, that are backed by a variety of fungible assets. And we also think that having a smart soft pact mechanism that keeps the euro to the standard euro pact, like the equals the values are, that this is really the future and this is the way to go. And this works for basically every fiat currency in the world.
Definitely, that's quite exciting. And I was reading into that. Yeah, the S euro is the first currency that you're developing alongside of the standard token as well. And I'm curious to know, as you continue to grow throughout the years, is this something that is also capable with North American currencies or Asian fiat currencies? And is that part of the plan? Or is it something particular about the euro itself that makes it a great first choice of that stablecoin backing?
Yeah, so we've chosen the euro because if you look closely, every stablecoin that's out there is already USD. And why is that? Why isn't there a stablecoin one-to-one backed by fiat already in the Eurozone? And Laurin touched on it, it's because of the negative interest rates. You can't hold billions of dollars in a bank account and get charged every month a crazy amount by the central bank just to hold that. So that's why we wanted to tackle that, because it's not like there's no euro stablecoin because it's not useful. There's no euro coin because of that reason. And then we want to tackle the South American market, the USD, the yen. We feel that inflation in these inflationary markets are really useful. Imagine you're working paycheck to paycheck, you're earning, right? So by the time you get to the next month, you've run out of money and you get your paycheck. And this is the vast majority of people work like this in terms of the middle class. And so these people don't have access to saving because they don't have any extra money. But the problem is, if they bought the gold, then they don't have any money for living. So imagine if they could buy cryptocurrencies or gold and then borrow 85% of that to actually have liquidity, or up to 85%. And especially in South America, something like Argentina is getting really hit by inflation. That inflation effectively pays off their own loan, because let's say you borrow 1,000 peso from yourself, then maybe in 5 years' time, that 1,000 pesos, which then bought you a nice electric bike, buys you a carton of milk in 10 years' time. So effectively, you've kept the gold, you've kept the cryptocurrencies, which has gone up like crazy, yet you can pay it off with a carton of milk now, and you have an electric bike. So by being able to have true gold backing or asset-backed loans to yourself without begging a bank for a loan, you're borrowing it from yourself with over-collateralized loans. This is a total game changer. And being able to have these stablecoins around the world also allows them to say, hey, I want to save in gold, but I want to get a nice yield on that gold. This is something that like Warren Buffett has had a real challenge with gold. It's like, well, I like gold, but it has no yield. And you're like, well, if you borrowed from yourself and used the DeFi system, some of these DeFi protocols have like 16% yield. It's crazy. And yeah, they're not guaranteed for sure, but they're basically used to market make these decentralized exchanges. And they're very good creating a yield. Sometimes it's not so big, and eventually over time, as more and more people come in, they'll equalize down. But I think there's a lot of opportunity there to save in hard assets that generally just sit in vaulting facilities gathering dust, but be able to use those hard assets as collateral and actually earn a yield off it.
Definitely. Very well said, Joshua. And I wanted to step back for a second just to get the viewers have a clear understanding of the ecosystem, because you do have the S0, you do also have the standard token, and there's multiple coins that are in the ecosystem. You mentioned using DeFi there for getting yield. Can you talk about, just a brief, like the differences on, the standard token itself and any other functionality differences between the stablecoin and the token?
Yeah, so the big difference here is the use case. So this stable coins that we are developing, they are built for transactions. So we want to build stable coins for the everyday life, where people can start making purchases with these stable coins, for example, the standard euro. And then in the future, hopefully a standard US dollar and a standard yen and so on. So these are the use case for the standard for the standard stable coins. They are for transactions. They are also to be used in yield farming activities, where people can take the stable coin and offer them to liquidity pools and earn a yield on that. So technically, while people place the gold in a smart vault, what is the smart contract used, or named by us, the smart contract used for storing the gold on the platform, then people can use the mint stable coins and put them into the liquidity pools. So this is one of the beautiful use cases of the stable coins. While the standard token, which is the governance token of the platform, enables people to participate as actively in the governance of the platform, make key decisions, and participate also in the voting. So when you hold standard token, you are an active member of the platform, and you can actively manage and grow the ecosystem. Additionally, to get this token value, the token enables you also to reduce the stability fee of the protocol. So this is one of the use cases. Another one is liquidated assets on the spot. Buy liquidated assets on the spot. So people that hold at least an amount of 100,000 standard token, they get access to liquidated assets on the spot, because when these smart vaults fall under the minimum collateral level, that means, for example, Ethereum, if someone placed Ethereum or Bitcoin into a smart vault as collateral, and this collateral falls under this minimum collateral level, the smart vault gets automatically liquidates the assets, and people holding standard tokens get the chance to buy these assets on the spot. And the other mechanism, the other use case of the standard token is really participate in prediction markets. So we are hoping to replace the voting as the governance mechanism with prediction markets. While this is a really new field, we will need some time to get first the voting right, and then gradually move over to prediction markets.
Yeah, the prediction markets is an interesting thing. I come from the libertarian side of things. I don't see voting as the best form of. You can watch some of these talent shows. Some of the most ridiculous people get through because people vote for weird reasons. It's not always the best singer that gets through, So voting can sometimes. You look at some of the leaders that get voted in around the world. You think, well, voting is kind of a bit flawed. So. Prediction markets are actually, there's a lot of academic proof behind prediction markets allowing people to put their dogmas aside, because there's money to be made by finding the truth. So by us trying to figure out what the best interest rate is when you borrow money from yourself to peg the standard euro to the euro, what is the best method? People will earn money by finding the correct answer to that problem. Right. And this will take a while. We'll start off more in a centralized mechanism of voting, and then slowly head towards the full prediction model. over time. But we feel that this will also solve voter apathy within the DAOs that are floating around. A lot of DAOs are really interesting. I love the DAO because, especially for our project, interest rates by central banks are controlled by strange old men behind closed doors, and you don't know what they're doing. They're just controlling the interest rates of all the money and actually steering economies. But imagine if you could have the interest rates decided openly and transparently by thousands of people around the world. Mm-hmm. And this is what DAO token holders are allowing them to do. So they can really steer the model. They also have access to tell the DAO how to spend the treasury. So the DAO has a treasury of millions of dollars that they can say, okay, we want to put money into marketing, or we want to put money into whatever they want. And this DAO will grow the protocol like that as well. So there's interesting things to be had for holding the DAO token.
Exactly. And yeah, on top of this, people that really participate in the voting mechanism early on and then in prediction markets, as they do work with the platform, they grow the ecosystem, they receive also a voting remuneration. So there's a monetary incentive for people to participate in the governance of the protocol.
Definitely, that is quite exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the DAO plays out. I think putting the prediction market in there, prediction markets, I think, are great predictors when people are putting their money in and getting a group consensus of what something needs to be valued at, and what the interest rate should be, or whatever else the prediction market is being worked on. I think that's a great way to go about it, and it is early on. There have been some great prediction markets that have come into the crypto space, but they just need that fine tuning. And I think introducing your DAO combined with that may be a great solution. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Can you guys talk about where it's at right now? I know you're working on the DAO. The coins are, you guys have been working on this project for quite a while. Can you give a snapshot to the viewers of where it's at and where you're headed for the rest of 2021?
Yeah, since we've seen this bear market sort of here, some people call it bear market, some people call it correction, whatever you want to call it, it's allowed us to actually sit here and work and build. They say hodl during the ups and build during the downs, and that's really what we're doing. We're building. So we're working hard. We've got a team of like 10 people working on this full time now. And so we're coding, we're building partnerships with vaulting facilities to allow their customers to collateralize and join this space. We're also getting great advisors on board to help us really steer the project in the right direction, both ethically, financially, in terms of economic theory and game theory, and as well technically. So there's a whole bunch of stuff to do. We're definitely not lacking things to do, and that's basically what we're doing. We are in a pre-market distribution phase where we are talking to some angel investors and VCs, and if they want to come, they should send us an email on the standard.io and see how they can participate. But really, it's about building right now.
Right. Yeah. Most of my day is used to look into partners. So we are looking at vaulting facilities that want to partner early on with this network, with this platform, as well as on the flip side of things, use cases for the standard euro. So merchants and other companies that will accept standard euro as a form of payment. So it's really a lot of ecosystem development that's happening at the moment, and the feedback is great. People really are really excited about this project. And yeah, there will be a lot of exciting announcements coming soon. But yeah, this is really great to see how the crypto world, and not only the crypto world, is accepting and waiting for this platform to come.
Yeah, it is really exciting working on this project. I've got to say, I feel you. It's fun to see. It's fun to see a project coming from an idea and building it out where other people are really excited to come on board, like wallets and the such like that. Yeah,
yeah, it is quite exciting, and it's a nice twist and a refreshment from traditional fiat-backed USD stablecoins. So I'm interested to see how it will play out. I will be following along For the viewers that are also looking to follow along as you continue to grow, what's the best way for them to learn more and to get involved in the communities and in the DAO?
Yeah, I would just say join up to thestandard.io, have a look there, join the waiting list, and join the Telegram channel. We're going to move over to Discord once it gets full, but right now we're still just a small community. We're pretty under the radar at the moment, so that's where we're chatting and talking and discussing things, and that's basically how you stay in touch.
Sounds great. I will leave those links to in the description box below. All the best with the Standard moving forward. I will be following along, and let's follow up in the near future.
Thanks a lot, Ashton.